Hey, welcome back to Guns and Ammo's The Buzz podcast. I'm Eric Poole, editor-in-chief of Guns and Ammo. We've got Jim Tarr, handgun editor, as well as Jack Oller, managing editor. And we're briefly going to talk and preview the May issue of Guns and Ammo magazine. That's the May 2025 issue. It looks like this. And notably on here, we have the Kobra. This is the Ed Brown Kobra Carry G4. But what's particularly unique about this one is that it's offered in 2 slides. So it's a dual caliber kit. Jim Tarr reviewed it for this issue. Tell us a little bit about it. Let's preview it for the audience.
Well, it's interesting because normally you could maybe have a 9 and a 40, but having a 9 and a 45, whereas not just the diameters of the cartridges are vastly different, but the length. And so it's interesting the way they did it. Well, it's a stainless frame with a bobtail, which Ed Brown invented the bobtail, what, 25 years ago. And they celebrated their 25th anniversary, I think, last year, something like that. And the 45 top end, it's commander length, it's 4 1/4, and it's more or less a traditional commander length top end with iron sights. The 9 millimeter top end, it's a 4 inch barrel and it's Ed Brown's Evo top end. So the slide has actually been narrowed to reduce weight, and it comes from the factory with a red dot. Now, to swap from one to the other, you actually have to swap out the ejector that's mounted in the frame, and to do that, you actually just have to pop out a roll pin, which nobody's really done that before, and it just really takes a punch, but it'll take you a few minutes to do. It's not that difficult, but that's interesting and fascinating. To me, I've been around long enough that I remember when finding a 1911 in 9 millimeter that was actually reliable was really tough, and it wasn't the diameter, because 9 millimeters, they've been chambered in 38 super since at least the 50s, if not the 30s, and that's got the same diameter as the 9 millimeter. It's just the 9 millimeter, because it's so short, trying to figure out how to make the gun work with that much shorter of a cartridge took some work. And the way they did it is they went with the original barrel, which did not have a ramp, and they added an integral ramp to the barrel and then machined a slot in the frame for that. That was a big thing. And then also new magazines. The magazines have a spacer in it, usually at the back, so that the cartridge sits forward, and it has the same amount of jump to that ramp as a 45 would have. And even 10 years ago, a lot of companies are struggling with it, but now 1911 manufacturers seem to have mastered that. And so it's going back and forth between 9 or 45. I mean, we've talked to just about every 1911 manufacturer recently, and their 9 millimeter guns are outselling their 45s. 9 millimeter is the most common caliber in 1911 now, which is not something I ever thought I would see.
Well, tell us a little bit about that. Ed Brown customer is also a 45 guy. So this dual caliber kit, actually appeals to some of them. And when you combine, it saves you from having to buy 2 Ed Browns.
Well, and then you get two 45 magazines and two 9 millimeter magazines with the gun. And the nice thing about 9 millimeter is you get more capacity and the ammunition is less expensive, but also it, 45, it is a substantial thumper. You know when you're pulling the trigger. And if you just want to get in some maybe high volume round count at the range, 9 millimeter is much more pleasant to shoot. And then there have been such improvements to defensive handgun ammunition that if you decide to carry the 9 millimeter, you are not undergunned. The modern bullets expand. They thanks to the FBI ammunition protocol being adopted by every ammunition manufacturer, you've never had better defensive handgun ammunition, and 9 millimeter performs just as well as 45 while having less recoil and giving you one, or depending on it, 2 extra rounds in the magazine.
So let me change directions a little bit. I'm going to just run through a little bit of what's in the May issue. And then, Jack, I'm going to get to you a little bit because you helped put together one of our major features in it. Also in this issue, we have the Smith & Wesson lever action Stealth Hunter in 45 Colts, also available in other cartridges as well. But what's cool about this one, we've actually evaluated it with a Silencer Central Banish 46 V2. So now we're in the age of lever actions that are suppressed in pistol calibers. That's pretty exciting. But also in there, I took a factory tour of Griffin Armament, which is in Wisconsin, and I got to see a preview of their new Optimus 6, which is basically a 3D printed suppressor, super effective. Really excited for them. They've actually been around for a while, making suppressors, ARs as well. So a lot of interesting things coming out of Wisconsin. I also evaluated this new C&G holster, a Gen 6 competition rig featuring Springfield Armory's Echelon. Carried that for 30 days. And then Richard Nance actually talks a little bit about the Avient multi-layer composite heat release barrel technology. Tom Beckstrand went to Southeast Asia and visited the Leapers factory over there and introduced the new Integrix 6 to 36. And then there's a whole bunch of other ones. Of course, this is a continuation of the World War II sniper rifle series. This one features the Mosin Nagant 9130 PU sniper rifle. Big surprise here. It's a lot more accurate than you would expect. Dave Emary brought us that. And then for a house, we've got another surprise, which was the Henry Supreme, a magazine-fed lever action. We evaluated it both in 223 Remington and 300 Blackout. So that's a pretty fun gun right there. But one of the features that we've got now Jack Oller involved in is we brought back the NSSF SHOT Show new product premiere, which has got a roundup of some of the new exciting products in short form. Jack, tell us a little bit about what you saw at SHOT Show that made it into the product premiere.
I mean, every year SHOT Show, there's always something new and exciting that gets launched there. Highlights for me, I really like one of the most underrated pistols we saw at SHOT Show was the FN Reflex XL. We'll be doing a full feature of that in the July issue of Guns and Ammo, but we got a sneak peek of that in the SHOT Show premiere. And then calling back, I have to say this is really one of the coolest issues we've done yet. That Avient technology that Rich Nance wrote about, ceramic coatings for your barrel, your rifle barrel. They're doing some very exciting stuff for long range rifle technology. And this is just such a fascinating issue because on top of that, we've got, the lever guns we talked about. Jim, I don't think we talked about price, but your Ed Brown, I believe, what was the retail on that Ed Brown?
Well, you get 1.5 guns, and I think it's $49.95, something like that. Which the thing is, when you're talking if true custom 1911s, individual guns, true custom 1911s, the inexpensive ones are $3,500, $4,000, and I know a lot of actual custom 1911 makers, and depending on if it's a full house custom race gun for competition, those guns are $7,000, $8,000. So having a gun and a half for $5,000 is, yeah, it's a lot of money. But if you want a 1911 built by hand by a custom shop, that's how much you're going to have to spend. And Ed Brown has been in the business forever. They designed, Ed Brown came up with the bobtail, and they have the best design beaver tail grip safety on the market, period. That's, you can agree with me or you can be wrong.
Well, honestly, companies have been copying that Ed Brown for years. I mean, and even custom gun makers would buy Ed Brown beaver tail grip safeties and install them in their gun. I know when I went through the cylinder and slide 1911 pistol smithing class back now, it was 2005. That's what we used. It is the standard. In fact, a lot of Ed Brown products are the standard. And of course, he passed away in 2024 last year. So this is all timely. It's a great tribute to him, his family, his business, and his products. Jack, sorry I interrupted you. You're about to say.
It really is an incredible gun. Gun and a half. Like it's almost showing off. I think Eric, you put it once, is like, or Jim, I think you said it too. It's, hey, we can do it all, right? Like that's what Ed Brown is saying with this gun. And, and I bring up price because, like you're looking at a $5,000 pistol there. Now, arguably you're getting your money's worth, but to contrast that, I wrote up a $500 pistol, right? And so that's kind of one of the cool things about this issue is it really does have it all. Technology, the high end and the low end. So I wrote up the Savage Arms Stance XR, which is the updated version of the Savage Arms Stance. And, that's...
I'm going to pause you, Jack. I'm going to pause you because you're actually teasing our next issue, which is the June issue. And you're right. It's in the cover of that one. So there you go, everybody. You've got a little teaser for that. We're going to be reviewing the Savage Stance XR. Jack, you let it out of the bag.
The bag. I mixed up. You know how it is, Eric. We're as soon as one issue ends, we're starting the next one, and I suppose that's life. So but that's something we get feedback from is we'll write about these expensive firearms, and then we get so much reader feedback. Well, I want to write about a gun that I can afford. And I guess my point is we do that too, and that's what I love about Guns and Ammo is it really is. If it has a trigger, we write about it. So exciting things to come at the very least.
Awesome. Well, hey. That is the preview of the May issue of Guns and Ammo magazine. Be sure to pick up your copy on newsstands, and if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe it as well. Follow us on the Guns and Ammo Buzz, and we'll see you next month and bring you some more information.